Welcome to 9 Things a Successful Intranet Must Do. My name is Justin Herrick, and I am the presenter today from Interact. Please use the GoToMeeting interface for any questions that you might have. You should see it on the right side of your screen, and you can ask a question, and we're going to try to get to all questions, but if we don't, we'll make sure somebody reaches out and answers any questions that you might have. We all know we have entered the digital age. The workplace has really changed in the last 10 years. We have a much higher focus on retention. We have much better ways of measuring key KPIs, and we have a ton of technology that we use day to day. In this new world, when it comes to software we expect and even demand, regular updates and fresh and exciting new features and new releases. In order to remain relevant, it's vital to stay ahead of the game, and our corporate intranet must do the same. However, in business, it's always important to keep sight of the original purpose of any given tool or platform. When developers constantly focus on and chase the next big thing, they can risk deviating from the original reason that tools exist in the first place. We can add as many bells and whistles as we like, but if the tool doesn't perform at its core job, it's doomed to fail. When it comes to our own intranet platform, Interact takes an agile approach to regularly reviewing, updating, and launching new features that will serve our customers. But there's a balancing act. When deciding what to update or introduce to Interact, we need to identify if these are nice-to-haves or non-trend features that will actually support our core goals and requirements of a corporate intranet. As we like to call it here, shiny object syndrome. It's also important to ensure the foundational features, those that make an intranet website valuable to an organization in the first place, remain relevant and useful. Given the pace of change in technology, that's a continuous work in progress. Improving our product never gets off our roadmap. Here we explore 9 things a company intranet must do in order to provide value to a business, and the features and functionality that support those goals. The first thing, help work get done now. People come to their organization to perform their roles and get work done. It's really that simple. A company intranet should make this process more efficient and help users do their job. Employees should be able to access company information as easily as they can access information at home or from their mobile devices. Why visit an intranet? In a recent customer survey, we looked at the reasons why people come to their company intranet. Reviewing feedback and data from 1 million+ users of our corporate intranet software, we found 3 top reasons. Reason 1, to find information relating to my goal. As a salesman, there are many documents I need every day to be successful, but finding them shouldn't be so hard. But unfortunately, many companies keep these files in the darkest depths of a repository. The second thing would be to complete a task. Pretty straightforward. An intranet is a great way to work collaboratively with my colleagues, whether we are working on a project or I'm trying to see our new health policy or what I can expense this month. And the third thing would be to connect with people that can help me. I won't know the answers to everything, although sometimes I feel I do. So I'm going to need help. How am I going to find those people, and how am I going to get them to help me? The intranet can really be that tool to help me out. Typically, we see 4 categories of problems or tasks that need to be fulfilled. First would be communication, to both receive top-down communication about their organization, team, or perhaps particular projects, and communicate with others. Second would be information, for example, seeking out an HR policy, company documentation, or perhaps policies and procedures required to fulfill their roles. Third would be collaboration, such as finding a colleague who can support you on a particular task, or team up with others on a project. Fourth would be business processes. For example, booking a leave of absence or submitting expenses. To serve its core purposes, an intranet needs to have a blend of tools that answers each of these categories, connecting users to the people, information, and tools they need to solve problems as efficiently as possible. Within Interact, these tools include people directory and organizational charts. I use the people directory day to day if I need to find somebody to help me out with a certain certification that works in a certain department and maybe speaks a language in which I have a contact that only wants to speak in their native tongue. An organizational chart is really important because when I started here at Interact, I wanted to know, who do I report to? Who does my boss report to? And who's the who in the company? Workflows and forms. This tool empowers organizations to streamline critical business processes such as submitting expenses with automated workflows. A user-focused design means even non-technical people can create simple, easy-to-build forms, keeping that principle of efficiency by removing the need for IT or a specialized intranet administrator. Integration and functionality. Our platform is a communication and collaboration tool. It could do every job within a business, nor should it try to. There is a large range of specialized tools and platforms available for different processes and functions. A successful intranet must bring these together in a centralized, streamlined way, acting as a gateway to the digital workplace. A content management system, or CMS as most marketing folks know it. An intranet isn't a document management system. However, it is the centerpiece for the business information. The ability to upload, create, and access different types of content in an easy-to-use CMS is crucial. Enterprise search functionality. We live in the day of tech. Why can I go on Google, start typing 3 letters, and I get sentences, phrases, and how-tos? I should be able to do the same in my intranet. And that's what the enterprise search tool is really about. Number 2, focus on your users. We're going to talk a lot about this. We're really going to try to hammer this home because this is really, really important. Often we create projects and we're just thinking as in the eyes of an administrator, and we lose focus on the users. Organizations are by nature diverse. While your company is the collective, it is made up of individuals, each with unique roles, requirements, skill sets, and objectives to achieve. So it's really important to get the right content to the right people in the right format. So when it comes to your intranet strategy, it is crucial to focus on users' needs rather than the business needs alone. We also need to be conscious of what the user wants or needs. It isn't always about what the user wants, but we have to align with what we believe the user wants, maybe by testing it and aligning it with what the organization needs. Being a part of a community is just as important in the workplace as it is at home. In the workplace, these are the 4 most common communities we see: purpose, practice, event, interest. The best word of advice we could give here is keep these focused, keep them goal-oriented, and people will love using these communities. And these communities are a great way to drive engagement. Just kind of a quick tidbit about Interact. We had a Game of Thrones community, and we use this to drive engagement, me being the only one not watching Game of Thrones here at Interact. But everybody else went on, they commented, and it drove a lot of traffic onto the site, and people found other things that were worth their time on there, and in turn, never stopped using the intranet. Here at Interact, we work hard to create a social intranet with a variety of tools to target relevant, timely, and useful content to users. Our ethos is that content should find people. Content targeting and content personalization have both seen increased focus in business communication in recent years and offer distinct approaches to getting the right content to the right people. As digital consumers, we now increasingly expect content to be pushed to us based on our unique browsing habits, individual demographics, and our taste and interest. I know everybody is shot for something, and it's followed them for years and years. Content targeting places audiences into defined segments placed on a common attribute. For example, All employees from a particular region office would be a segment, or perhaps all your new starters. This information can be pulled from user profiles using things like at mentioning, and the content can be targeted to segments and the segment's unique needs. Interact also offers persona groups. This feature empowers organizations to create dynamic, multi-criteria groups of users to deliver truly targeted communication. For example, to send a training event alert to staff who manage 2 employees or more, but haven't completed manager training. Tailored home pages. This is really key. We want to make sure it has relevant information and widgets and content for specific groups that can also ensure that these users have personalized user experience from their intranet. For example, having new starters log in to their own homepage their first couple weeks of employment lets them see, what documents are really important for new people, maybe meet a buddy or their line manager, but also could give them a checklist of the things they need to complete in their first couple days, months, or weeks. Personalization, by contrast, focuses on the individual end user. Using algorithms and machine learning, it sets out to understand real-time intent and respond by pushing content accordingly. Stuff that we see every day. Things like Netflix do this really, really well. Interact can learn and analyze user behavior and interactions with an intranet, using those insights to promote relevant content through suggestions, search, and recommendation. Targeting and personalizing content serves really 2 main purposes. It suggests content users may need to get work done based on previous habits. For example, if a user searches for a particular policy and somebody adds a related document to the intranet, the original user would be promoted that content through Interact Suggests. It also helps uncover content that a user might not know exists. How many times have we been recommended a movie that we never even heard of, but we love based on what we've watched in the past? Interact also has recommendations. This is a tool that is built to recommend content such as blogs, events, news, people that somebody wouldn't necessarily go for. The key takeaway here is really, have you considered the unique individual needs of your users and the communities they form? Do you offer the right features, functionality, and capacity to tailor and personalize their intranet experience? We've talked about the need to focus on the end users of your intranet. However, it is equally important to ensure your intranet serves a strategic purpose within an organization. The companies that can balance this best are always the most successful. It's amazing how often we talk to business leaders in a company and discover that the objectives of their intranet aren't aligned with the objectives of the business. Without direction and alignment to your goals, your intranet won't deliver value. And if it doesn't deliver value, management stops caring about it, it loses momentum, and for you comms folks that bring on an intranet, this comes back to you, and we don't want that here at Interact. Generic objectives are typically high level and may be difficult to quantify. They won't necessarily be defined in a business strategy, but for an intranet project, they represent a considerable potential and should be explored in full. There's a couple things to consider. What are your current challenges or pain points being faced by your business and departments and their employees? What generic objectives have already been set out by those departments that an intranet could help address? Remember to refer to your stakeholders who you identified earlier in the project to map out these generic objectives accordingly. Start by asking yourself these simple questions. What are your long-term strategic objectives as a business, and what role could or does your intranet play in achieving those? Is your intranet aligned with the objectives of each individual business unit? Remember, an intranet isn't just a tool for marketing or comms. It's for the whole organization. How do you measure the success of your intranet? What are the key KPIs that you believe you need to hit in order for your intranet to be successful? Do you have benchmarks in place to gauge ongoing performance? Do you have buy-in from senior management for your intranet? Do you regularly review your objectives? For example, if your strategic business goal is for international expansion, does your intranet support a globalized workforce? Does it enable remote access, facilitate collaboration across different time zones, and offer correct features and tools for different offices? Or perhaps you're set to undergo a significant change. How can your intranet ease this transition for both management and employees? Will it enable you to communicate change effectively, to maintain engagement and ensure culture and vision of your organization is upheld? What if we're doing a rebrand? How can we use an intranet to facilitate that rebrand? Whether you're at the start of your intranet project or already have a legacy system in place, invest time in drawing that connection between a wider business goals and the objectives of your corporate intranet. This will ensure it delivers a return on investment, which is key, and continues to be a valuable tool for your business. The main takeaway here is your intranet is a business tool. Ensure it has defined objectives that align to your overall business goals and direction. Mobile technology and the concept of telecommuting, flexible working, or remote working are now established and growing in the business market. There is a new phrase, BYOD, bring your own device. 80% of the global workforce, which is approximately 3 billion people, already perform physical or deskless work. People need to be able to work on whatever device they're on, wherever they are. Think about the needs of your company. What will people want to do on their mobile? How can we support them with completing work and tasks on the go? Will they be able to access vital information or applications without restriction, regardless of their location, device, or form of connection? Then consider the tools you will need and provide those tools in a mobile-first platform that works for them. Interact is built to meet the needs and demands of all employees, regardless of location or device. Native mobile apps for iOS and Android ensure critical tools, contacts, and information are available without any compromise on functionality or user experience. Another thing to think about is how to reach staff during times of crisis. When your staff are dispersed and hard to reach, whether on a shop floor or out on the road or working remotely, reaching them during times of need or crisis is critical. Timely distribution of emergency protocols, confirming staff safety, and management of response efforts has become increasingly tricky when you have a large workforce who aren't in the office or behind a desk. Interact's broadcast functionality does exactly that. It allows you to alert employees in times of crisis or in times of need in many different ways. A single message can be composed within an intranet and then distributed out via SMS, push notification, email, a blocking notification, which completely blocks them out of their intranet, and a display banner for something like IT would be offline this weekend. Workforces are becoming increasingly mobile. Ensure you're able to meet their needs and provide access to essential tools and information that they require to do their jobs effectively. It's important to reach your employees when it matters most. For managers and communicators, this will save you a lot of time, but also provide you peace of mind to who's receiving, reviewing, and reading your messages. Your intranet is there to provide value to your employees. They are your consumer, the customer of your intranet. As such, they will expect the same level of performance they get from an intranet as they do from other web-based technologies they use every day. Hopefully not at work too much, like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. This means that both the speed of your intranet and the user experience should be something that your users take for granted, something that loads up like that. Often, intranet owners have the perception of speed or user experience as being about the time it takes to load a single page of your intranet. Yes, that kind of speed is important. However, user experience goes much, much further than this. For example, does the structure of the information architecture and navigation allow users to quickly identify where they need to go? Is the taxonomy of content areas unwieldy? Are there too many unnecessary clicks, or is it difficult to get the information that I need? One of our primary goals of an intranet is collaboration. Giving your intranet to your users and getting them to engage and contribute. How easy is it for non-technical users to create content? Is the interface intuitive and simple to use? Does it allow for different file formats? For example, enabling authors to upload things like Word, Excel, PDF, things that they're used to using every day. Ideally, you don't have to teach them systems and systems. I feel comfortable with this system, and I want to keep using it. Now to the statistics. 500% users are 5 times more likely to abandon tasks when the site isn't optimized for mobile. 48% of users feel frustrated when sites are poorly optimized for mobile. I feel like that should be 90%, but we'll keep it at 48. 90% is the reduction in support costs that you can achieve by focusing on UX. Really important, especially for millennials. 79% of users will search for another site to complete tasks if the UI is poor. How many of you have been on a site that doesn't look good? Think about Ask Jeeves when Google came out. You see Ask Jeeves, the UI wasn't great. It didn't finish your sentences for you, so you started going to Google. Now your kids will never know what Ask Jeeves is. It's all UI based and UX based. Put yourself in your user's shoes. I know you heard this a lot as a kid, but it's really true. What is their experience of your intranet? Its speed, accessibility, ease of use. Is it easy for them to find what they need to complete tasks? Place user experience at the top of your priority list and invest in intranet strategy services to ensure you deliver this. At Interact, the end user experience is the primary focus in all development. This is something we never kick off our roadmap, and we improve every single release on. We are committed to a fast, intuitive, easy-to-use platform that delivers a first-rate experience across all environments and browsers. So if you like Safari, which I hope you don't, Chrome, whatever it might be, it works the same, and it's the same experience for everybody. By combining a user-oriented platform with comprehensive professional services, we ensure every intranet is designed with the end user in mind. Our CMS provides a simple WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get, editor with the ability to embed images or rich media alongside the ability to upload existing file types or integrate with cloud storage providers to provide a centralized, streamlined digital workplace experience for all users. Our intranet strategists, probably the best people we have here at Interact, partner with customers to build an information architecture that's aligned to the needs and user journeys of your business. We take the time to understand what your users need, what they're looking for, and what journey they will take, and how to make the process both accessible and intuitive for them. This process ultimately delivers greater value for both the end user and the business. At Interact, we call this a win-win. Organizational culture, although an almost intangible concept, is now recognized as one of the most important aspects of a successful business. According to research, 78% of CEOs believe it's within the top 5 value drivers for a business. 91% believe improving corporate culture will increase an organization's value. If people look forward to coming to work every day, they're much slower to leave. However, in a digital age where many of our staff are dispersed across multiple offices, working remotely, out on the road, and connected almost exclusively by their devices, creating a communicating and collective culture is a huge challenge. As the heart of your digital workplace, a corporate intranet has a huge role to play. This comes down to the number of elements. 1, brand and purpose. Who are you? And what do you stand for? Use your intranet to promote and embed your mission and values, to communicate your CSR efforts, and give insight into the different areas of your organization. Perhaps through the Day in a Life series by putting the spotlight on different department, regions, or campaigns. Second is onboarding. Those first few weeks in an organization could be make or break and heavily influence a new recruit's perception of their company and their colleagues. Facilitate training. Streamline the mandatory admin processes. Connect recruits to their peers and give them insights into the culture and tailor this with new starter homepages. Rewards and recognition. This is a great way to celebrate from colleague to colleague different accomplishments. We have a place for this in our intranet where we can go in, we can thank our colleagues for just helping out. This works really good for building a culture within an organization. Share business news and direction. A successful culture is dependent on each individual contributing to a shared goal and objective. Help connect staff to the bigger picture with regular company updates, publishing of performance, and by communicating change. Everybody wants to feel that management is reaching out to them and being open. Leadership. One of the biggest influence on corporate culture is those at the top. But what if your staff are based remotely and never get to see or hear their leaders? They don't see them at the coffee machine. Use intranet blogs or news areas to give visibility to your organizational leaders. Encouraging management to engage with staff embeds that connection even further. We've even built a functionality inside of Interact that allows you to publish on behalf of some of these C-level executives if they don't have the time or don't want to write content. We've seen this used a lot. Give staff a voice. As a millennial, I'm guilty of this. We'd love to be heard. Two-way communication and empowering staff to be heard makes a huge difference in the culture of an organization. Use tools like discussion and forums and different pulse surveys to generate feedback from employees. And last, but probably not least, break down silos. For remote or frontline staff in particular, work can be isolating. Many may not engage with colleagues outside their immediate team and often feel disconnected from the organization as a whole. And they go home and they hear from their friends that all their colleagues went to bowling together and they feel isolated. We need to kick down those silos, make everybody feel welcome, and join the culture. Allow people to self-serve. Decentralize your intranet. Employees are more confident with technology now than ever before. My 70-year-old father uses an iPhone, and he is proud of it, I'll tell you that. As a collaborative platform, an intranet is also ultimately for and about your employees. Give it to them by allowing them to build their own areas to collaborate, create forums, post and share content, add events, and more. Ultimately, enabling your people to self-serve is essential for your intranet success. Interact Teams has transformed the way many of our customers work together collaboratively. They create their own project spaces. They're able to work in an organized manner, create discussions and forums, and the best part, we never need to bother IT. The important things to remember is that teams in the modern day workplace are, by nature, agile and diverse. They are always unique to each company. Every company is different, just like every intranet is different. Organizational design has seen a shift away from hierarchy structures to more collaborative, interlinked networks where roles, interests, and skills are moved to where they're needed. This calls for a multitude of different spaces where groups can collaborate, communicate, and complete business tasks, and can't be defined by traditional role-specific teams. For example, you may have a team space linked to a particular project or around a common interest or area of expertise. Alongside this, our workflow and form tool and integration functionality have enabled many business critical processes to be automated, reducing the burden on internal resource by empowering staff to complete daily tasks such as submitting expenses or booking a leave of absence for themselves. How many of you guys, by a show of hands, although I can't see, still have paper-based forms? If you need to find out how many people submitted a new hire request, you'd have to go into a drawer and start counting. We can automate all that. Intranet software that uses functionality uses users recognize from their day-to-day lives. For example, social features including at mentioning, hashtagging, timelines, or commenting can help instill confidence in the more kind of tech-shy users that you might have. Perhaps the most powerful means of decentralizing is the one that links to creating a positive culture using generated content. Traditional internal communication models were top-down. Management would create a message, then broadcast it down to the staff. Now we understand that two-way communication is crucial to a healthy workplace. A simple-to-use intranet with the right permissions, can empower staff to create blogs, contribute on a discussion forum, put ideas forward, and comment on posts, even vote in polls, and much more. And as we know, a small idea can be worth millions of dollars for an organization. Encourage your users to take ownership of their intranet. Ensure you have a platform that is easy to use and allows employees to create their own collaborative spaces and content. Serve at the heart of your digital workplace. The way we work has shifted dramatically over the past decade. We are no longer tied to our desk in the office or working in a single country. We all have these systems to help us do our jobs, which is great. However, the landscape also comes with a lot of challenges. There's such thing as too much technology. But how are we taking all of that technology and encompassing it into one? And that's what an intranet does, specifically here at Interact. Our technical ecosystem has exploded in growth. There's an app for everything. And with the luxury of choice comes disjointed digital experience. We have too many answers. Back in the day when I went to school, we looked in a dictionary and there's only one answer. Today you Google something and you get a million answers. So a better example in the workplace is this. My sales team uses Skype for business, but my marketing team prefers Slack, and my IT team really wants Microsoft Teams because it's new. What happens to communication in my business? With an abundance of cloud storage options, how do I prevent my business knowledge and information from being locked into numerous silos or duplicated? Or what's the security around that? If staff are using their own apps and devices to get work done, how do I ensure there's data security? How do I check on that? Simplify the employee journey through your digital workplace. With single sign-on or SSO, staff can just use one set of credentials through two-way authentication to get into all of their apps. I put in a username once or a fingerprint or facial recognition, and now I can get into all my applications. Investment and development in the workplace tools and technologies has exploded in recent years. In particular, the collaboration and communication market has grown massively. In turn, intranets have been the focus of substantial innovation and growth. In an age of enterprise social networking, cloud storage, and instant messaging, we've been asked whether intranets are still relevant and what role they can play or should play in business communications. Let's consider what, at its most basic level, an intranet is. I hope I can answer this, being I work for an intranet company. An intranet is a powerful enabler to solve an employee's need, offering timely and relevant information and support. It helps connect individuals regardless of time zone, location, or device. It empowers employees with a voice and offers a means to tap into the knowledge of an organization. An intranet, in an increasingly challenged and dispersed workforce, it helps build a support and successful business culture. But While the core role of the internet has undeniable value, it can't afford to be complacent in a fast-paced technological world we live in and operate today. To remain relevant, it must continue to grow with your business. This responsibility lies not only with the developer, who stay ahead of the trends in business communications and technology, it also lies with the individual business. Revisiting your internet objectives and performance, evaluating that against your overall business goals, and continually striving to improve. Adapt and change your internet in line with the needs of your organization is critical. While assessing vendors, it's important to pick an internet provider that can demonstrate both stability and innovation. You want to partner with a company that knows what works and that what doesn't work. We can't afford to be with a company and going through their growing pains. If I'm the one purchasing an internet, the success and failure rides on my back. It's important to continue to evaluate how your internet is delivering against your original objectives and against your overall goals to ensure it continues to stay successful. An intranet isn't something you just push a go live button and abandon. It should improve, adopt, and evolve, just like the rest of your organization. There are a huge variety of tools and applications available to facilitate communication and collaboration. The internet is a collective, a facilitator, a portal that brings together all of these different tools, features, and applications. In today's marketplace, it's more relevant and more valuable than ever before. However, selecting a corporate internet partner who will continually innovate and regularly visit your objectives is crucial to continue delivering value. I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that joined this webinar. We do have a couple questions, so I do want to make sure that I got them. The first one, will you be sending out these slides? Yes, within 24 hours, typically we'll send out these slides. I guess one person really liked them, so that's good. Can you give me some more examples of broadcast in action? So, for example, we had a client who is in Florida, and as you know, Florida has some inclement weather, and there was a hurricane, and it didn't seem like it was going to pass overnight, but weather kind of changed, and what they were able to do is create a broadcast message, and they were able to push those text messages out to everybody and saying, hey, work from home, be safe, here are some emergency contact information. It left people kind of feeling at ease and just let them worry about their families, their loved ones, their dogs or cats, whatever it might be, and let them go on with their life. Without that, people probably aren't looking at their emails in times of crisis. What should we do to prepare to launch a new intranet? Where do we start? Well, first start off by picking a vendor, but if we move past that, I would say really going through your content, figuring out what's good, what isn't good. You probably don't need your data policy or Christmas pictures from 2007 on there, but trust me, they're still in your repository somewhere. So really just kind of figure that piece out. I think that would be start for me. How do we target individual groups or people? So we covered this really briefly. It's called personas. Built into Interact, we have a persona functionality, and this can do many different things. A persona can be senior management, just the folks that speak Spanish in my organization. It can be by location. It could be people that have worked in marketing, but for more than 2 years. It could be certain people that have done like OSHA training and things like that. I see this is the last question that we will answer for today. But I really just want to appreciate everybody taking the time and taking this journey with us today. Thank you so much.